What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Today is my least favorite video that I make every year now, seemingly, and it's where I predict what I think the record is going to be. Now, I know the title also says we're going to go over the off-season acquisitions, and that's what I'm going to start with, but if you've been following me and been subscribed for a while, you know that I am terrible at predicting this. I think for 2021, I was like 15 or 20 wins off of what they actually did. In 2022, I was maybe a little closer. I actually didn't look. I might need to pull that up here real quick and see what I did, what I said for that. I think I said like 75 wins. So that was maybe a little better because, of course, they finished with 68. And I don't even want to comment on some of these other projections they have. The Angels, better than the Rangers next year. I don't know. I mean, they say by a win, but I don't know. And then there's no way the National League defending champs are only 2 games better than the Rangers. There's no way. I know they didn't win a lot last year, comparatively speaking. They just got in the wild card game, but there's no way because I don't even want to get into that debate. It speaks for itself. I'm not pessimistic, but I'm realistic about what I think the Rangers can do, and we'll get to that in a second. I also don't really see Seattle regressing that much, but I don't want to start talking about these standings because I've covered it a little bit before. I don't remember Rangers being at 83 wins, though. I guess they might have updated that now that the offseason's basically done. I do want to start with the transactions, though, so we're going to go in the chronological order here. It started off with Martin Perez accepting his qualifying offer. It was like $20 million, I think. And then, it was a couple weeks, not much really happened. Then, boom, Jacob deGrom. Boom, Andrew Heaney. Boom, Nathan Eovaldi. I mean, it goes on here. And then they avoided arbitration with Brett Martin, Jonathan Hernandez, Taylor Hearn, Nate Lowe, and Mitch Garver. Signed a ton more people to minor league deals, including Travis Jankowski, Ian Kennedy returning to the team, Clint Frazier, Danny Duffy, and a couple more. So really good stuff there. Then Robbie Grossman is one of the larger deals they made at the tail end of this offseason. And then just a couple days ago from when I'm recording this video, Will Smith to a 1-year, $1.5 million deal. That's fresh on my mind, so I can remember the number. So yeah, that's pretty good stuff, I would say. Very pitching oriented, which is what they needed because, as we all know, the previous offseason they got Corey Seager and Marcus Semien and were working on building up that offense. But you can score 1,000 runs in a game, but if you give up 1,001, you're never going to win. And I say that all the time to people because pitching is key. Obviously, you need to be able to score runs because you don't want what happened with Jacob deGrom on the Mets at the end of it, where he was, losing games 2-0, and he would go 8 innings, and his team just gave him literally no run support, but he had like a .5 ERA. So you don't want that to happen. And I do believe they have a pretty solid lineup. We'll get into that next here. So starting at the bottom of the active roster here, Mitch Garver back, hopefully healthy for the entire season because he's pretty good when he's able to play. They have him listed officially as a DH. Obviously, he is also a catcher. Don't know how much catching he'll be doing, though, but maybe giving Jonah Heim a couple days off here and there. The outfield is the intriguing one. I actually didn't know they still had Brad Miller, but just today when I'm recording this, they shared, unfortunately, that Leody Taveras has like a oblique injury, I think, so he's going to be out almost until opening day. So that opens up some space for guys like Bubba Thompson to have a starting spot, Robbie Grossman, and I've noticed there's some minor league guys on this list. I assume it's just because it's part of spring training that they're still in big league camp, because that would be insane if you saw Luis Angel Acuna this year. I would be very shocked. But anyway, so I imagine the outfield for sure is Garcia. He's locked in that spot after his last 2 seasons. And then a combination of Grossman and Thompson and Tavares when he's back. So I'm not sure who else is going to get in there. They've had Josh Smith and Duran play the outfield as well, I think, but obviously those are not their native positions. So moving along to the infield, though, in my humble opinion, as they say, I think this is one of the best infields, not just in the American League, but in all of Major League Baseball. You got Nathaniel Lowe, who just won the Silver Slugger. You got multi-time All-Star Corey Seager, who's coming off of a 30 home run season. His batting average historically lower than it has been, but I think with the new shift rules and he's just in his absolute prime right now, he's going to go off. I will say, though, if y'all saw on Twitter, there is a loophole in the new shift rule where you can still have like the left fielder, or it's like the right fielder can go all the way down to the edge of the grass, and you just have the left fielder basically play center, and then the center fielder move into right. So it's technically a loophole, but the infield still has to play straight up. So we'll see how that comes into effect. And Marcus Semien, he had a slow start last year, but he finished with a 2020 season, I believe. He had 26 home runs. And just to check real quick, stolen bases, 25. So actually, he's at 25 season, yeah. So that's pretty good. I mean, he turned it around at the end. Obviously, not the 872 OPS he had the year before, but I would anticipate maybe like this 2019 type season from him next year where he hits upper 200s, gets close to 30 home runs. So excited to see what he can do. And then, of course, you got the stud, Josh Young, who's going to get his first full season in 2023. So that's a pretty darn good infield, in my opinion. So those four, Seager, Semien, Lowe, and Young, are absolute locks, in my opinion. And they'll maybe platoon Young with Duran and Smith, depending on how they each perform. In terms of catching, they have previously mentioned Mitch Garver and Jonah Heim. I think Sam Huff just got injured, unfortunately, so he might not be on the opening day roster. I don't know if that news is on here. I swear I saw that somewhere. I could just be making that up. I hope he's not, but yeah, I don't know. I could just be making that up. And moving on to what is always the most interesting case in Texas Rangers history, the pitching. It has always been a point of turbulence, to put it lightly. And I'll tell you, it's looking good this year, though. The rotation is going to go something like DeGrom, then Perez, then John Gray, then Eovaldi, and then Andrew Heaney. And that fifth spot can get swapped out. You know, they might have like Odorizzi sometimes, or maybe even Cole Reagans will get a chance. It just really depends. Or they could do six-man rotation. I think with the hesitation around DeGrom in terms of his ability to stay healthy, they might want to consider a six-man rotation. I don't know if that actually helps or hurts a pitcher. I really don't know. But if it does help, they have plenty of starting pitching to do so, because that sixth spot could just be a bullpen day. You know, have a combination of like Hearn with Howard and Otto and Reagans and whoever else. So really depends. In terms of the bullpen, though, which has really been even more of a problem historically than the starting pitching, you're going to have Joe Barlow. I think Brock Burke is out for most of the season, or am I thinking of Brett Martin? There's one of the two of them that's out for the whole season. And is Joe Barlow even okay? I've been not really keeping up with the injuries. Oh, it's down here. I could have just looked at that when I was talking about someone else before. Hold up. We got to look now. So I guess he's okay. This might not be... No, it is injuries. So... Okay, who are we talking about before? Sam Huff. I gotta check now. Doesn't look like it. So anyway, I stand corrected, I guess. But you got Barlow, Burke, And then Leclerc might actually be one of the ones who is. Nope, he's good. He's going to be in the World Baseball Classic, I guess. I thought I just read something saying not. I don't know. Let's just disregard the MLB website, but he'll be there. They just signed Will Smith, obviously. You'll have Josh Sorbs. And then Jonathan Hernandez as well. So I'm just making sure here that I'm not missing missing any injuries. Sorbs that was November 10th, and then Hernandez was activated. I don't know. I've seen so much stuff on Twitter about roster updates. So anyway, I think the bullpen has a high ceiling, but if they're going to be able to maintain it, I'm talking more on the very back end, the closing side, the 7, 8, 9 guys. I remember it so vividly when the Yankees had it was Dylan Betances and Aroldis Chapman. Who was the other guy? I can't remember. But there had like these three. It was a 3-headed monster pretty much, and that was their 7, 8, 9 like every night. So you want to get to a point like that, but it's not always possible. So anyway, the moment you've all been waiting for or maybe dreading is, what is my prediction? How do I think they're going to do in 2023? And my answer is I'm going with the conservative estimate here because I've been wrong too many times before. I'm going with 78 wins. I think they're going to win 78 games, a plus 10 improvement, because the previous year they went plus 8. They had 60 wins in 2021, then 68 last year. I think they can get at least 10 this year. 15 is an optimistic view in my opinion, but they do more, they do more metrics than I do. They have pretty much every team regressing, it looks like, by the way. 101 to 91, 106 to 90. I mean, they have a lot of teams going down. There's no way. They think that Dodgers are going to go from 111 to 86. I don't agree with that. I mean, 111 is tough to replicate, but that's pretty bad. So anyway, that is my final prediction for the Rangers, is 78 wins. I'm going to stand by it. I want to be wrong because I want them to do better, but that's my conservative estimate, is 78 wins. So let me know what y'all think. If the bullpen does well, this run differential, because they lost so many one-run games last year, so if the bullpen does well, we'll see what happens. But let me know your estimate for the team. I think this is fair. It's maybe a bit low in your opinion, but I think it's fair. So all in all, though, very good offseason. Very excited to see what happens. I've stated that before a few times. And it'll just be exciting to see where things go. So appreciate y'all watching. If you're going to opening day, let me know. At the time of filming this, I don't know when who the opening day starter is going to be. I hope it's DeGrom, but I don't know who it's actually going to be. So yeah, let me know, and I'll talk to y'all later.